Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Backyard Conversations podcast. Here on this channel, we aim to talk about current events, youth topics that relate to today's young adults and Christian youth, and we hope to explain them to you guys in a way that helps you guys understand them in a biblical manner, that helps you guys think about them and think through them, how to talk about them, and so forth. Hopefully, we can edify and bless you guys with this video and podcast. And today we're talking about music.
We are. And before we actually start, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. That would be a huge help. Yeah, we are getting started, but we believe that because we have the right foundation and we have the right motivations, that this video is going to be a blessing to your life. And hopefully it's an eye-opener. It's a life-changing, video, if you want to call it. But it's interesting to actually look into what music is and how it works and how it affects your mind. And we actually have somebody here that, both of you guys play instruments.
Yes.
And both of you have looked into, music and stuff like that. So,
yes.
Talk to us, Joey. What do you know about music?
So, before we go super deep into the discussion, some background. The reason we're talking about this is because, one, music is probably one of the most influential, powerful tools in the world, probably. And right now, we're seeing a lot of... especially in the mainstream music industry, a lot of
shenanigans.
Yeah, shenanigans, as Jerry likes to say it. A lot of demonic messages, a lot of lyrics
Trash,
and words,
dump.
and basically making music that's just all for stuff that's garbage, right? Just a bunch of
garbage,
completely demonic stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's promoted by the industry, and this nation's youth is consuming all of it, and it's affecting all of them in a negative way. And so we're here to talk about that.
Yeah, and music has been around with us for
forever.
Before time.
Forever, yeah. I mean,
music
since
predates
before
time.
creation.
Yeah, it does actually, because we see that
God has choirs of angels.
Yep. So, and it has united people. It have brought people together. It has healed people. It had literally healed people, because there's some people that used to suffer. I was reading, I was doing all these research for this video. I was reading that there is testimonies of people that actually got healed listening to music, learning how to play instruments from their mental illness. In some cases, they were able to kind of see improvements in that area and in the mind and stuff like that. So one thing that I kind of noticed when I was doing all this research is the fact that when you listen to music, it works your whole brain. It literally activates the whole brain. It activates every single part of your brain, and it stimulates. It gives you that good feeling, that good sensation. It releases dopamine. So music is not just sounds.
Right.
Music is more than sound. Music music is what people identify with. Music is what bring culture together, because if I don't know your culture, but you show me one of your songs, I could learn a lot about your culture and your background. So music is more than just instruments and voices put together.
Right.
What is the scientific term of music? Is there a background?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was telling Joey that one of the things that I learned about music is that it's sound waves that trigger neurons and nerves in your brain.
Okay.
That create emotion, feelings, and the need of doing something. A very famous artist that got deleted. He actually spoke about it, and he openly said about it. He said, "In my music, I use a lot of hype. I use a lot of noise in my concerts, so that when the young people listen to it, it activates those neurons in their brains that gives them massive amounts of dopamine and makes them hype." And that's what even if you don't understand what I'm saying, even though if you don't understand a song, even if it's your first time listening to me, you get hype just for the simple fact that the waves of sound that this music is producing is causing you to feel like that. And he said, I'm not the only one that's doing that. Every artist knows that, because part of the manager's job of these artists is to figure out ways to capture the attention of the people. What do the people want to listen to?
Hypnotize people.
Yeah,
Yep.
and this was a really big rapper.
Yes,
like
yes.
really famous.
Very, very, very big.
Before he passed away.
Yep.
Yeah, he was super. Should we say his name or no?
Oh, yeah, we can. XXS Tentacion.
Yeah,
Yep.
he said that, and then he got.
He got the
Yeah,
lead.
but little Uzi, I think, says the same thing. Not the same thing, but he, I think one time, this interview person was like, "I can't get the song off of my head," and he's like, "Hypnosis," and he laughed, and the girl started laughing too, but he wasn't playing.
No,
like you
he
can
was-
tell, like
he was being for
wasn't
real.
playing. Yeah,
Yep.
he was being for real.
Yep.
But okay, like we're talking about music. This music that potentially has a hidden message, potentially has some waves that alter your emotions, alter your body. So music has the capacity to change your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Music has the capacity to uplift you or bring you down.
Right.
It's surprisingly that, like, when you're sad, you try to find sad music.
Yeah, that's something I never understand.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
some young folks that they were like, man, I used to deal with so much depression, but then I just started feeling better. You know, I started listening to, again, Tentacion's music and
so sad.
and
But you know why, right?
Billie Eilish, and I'm just like, you're listening to depressing music for your depression. How is that the remedy? That doesn't make sense to me.
But you know why, right? It's because they can relate.
Uh-huh.
So because they don't have the capacity to and not to, like, you know, say that you don't have the capacity, but at the moment you're so emotionally blind and you're so deviated and focused on the problem or what you're going through that you don't have the ability to process this, or you don't want to process what you're going through. So when you hear these songs, you relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps you cope. And people are like, oh, that's exactly how I feel.
Right.
So that's why they listen to it. But scientifically speaking, there has been research where, you know, they've seen how music uplift the mood. So if you're having a good day, try listening to some music, some good music.
Right.
Not trash. But we want to focus on this. We don't want to focus on, like, happy birthday music.
No.
Because, I mean, there's, to a certain point, there's people that think that that's bad as well. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah.
That's baloney, bro. Happy birthday music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what?
Like birthday music or like neutral music, I would call it.
Or like Christmas music.
Yeah.
Holiday music.
So there is a lot of shenanigans going around. Actually, there's people that gain a lot of youth and a lot of kids and then turn to the opposite side. There's a lot of people that, like, are doing great. Like Debbie, I think, was one. Debbie Lovato, whatever her name is.
Demi Lovato.
Taylor Swift. Who else? Miley Cyrus. I mean, yeah, dude, I
I think
don't
she's
know.
been cool.
Yeah,
but they
she's
were all
but-
young singers.
Yeah,
they started
especially
their careers young.
Whitney Houston.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then when
But
they got older, they kind of just.
Taylor Swift kind of surprised me. It took me by shock. I'm not even gonna lie. Because in the past, she has identified as a Christian. It like lightly, and then out of nowhere, you see her videos, and you're like, "Yeah, that's witchcraft." like that
Well,
is.
I mean,
And then
nowadays-
we've been know about Beyonce. Beyonce is just
Nowadays, everybody.
she
been
legit.
possessed, bro.
She literally said, "Oh yeah, that's not me singing. Somebody actually takes over me," and
People are
yeah,
like, oh, that's awesome.
she's like, "That's
It's
Sasha."
artistic.
Sasha Fierce.
Yeah, so it's like,
No.
okay,
Then
like,
she claims to be a church girl.
yeah,
And this is what, like, all the youth are listening to. These are the mainstream artists, the big pop artists, trap artists. We got all the youth in the nation and also worldwide, right? Because America, the music industry in America, not only is in America, it spreads to the whole world and it influences the whole world.
Right.
So we got all these youth around the entire globe listening to this music with all these negative messages, all these demonic subliminal meanings and hidden things. And then on top of that, you also have Christian artists that are deconstructing, or Christian artists that want to start cussing in their music, in their worship songs, saying all these other words. And so we're in this kind of like dilemma of this weird stage of music where we have the bad, but then the good is also getting corrupted as well for some reason. And
I'm not gonna lie. I lie. When I listen to a Christian artist and I taste a hint of a secular artist in their flow and their music and their lyrics, that's a big no for me. I immediately cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
In my perspective, we should be leading the industry.
Right.
Why?
Yeah,
because we have the Holy Spirit, we have God, we have the power to actually create something that could change minds, can change the hearts. But you're trying to be hip and you're trying to sound like these other artists that all they do is
And I mean, we're not trying to say that specific rhythms are bad. We're not trying to say that certain music is bad.
Yeah, it's not the genre.
What we're saying is there are certain music, certain artists, certain lyrics itself that lead you to the bad stuff. Makes you think wrong, makes you feel wrong. Like it's not rocket science. It's really not rocket science.
Yeah, like just to get it straight, the issue it's not the genre or the style or the sound of the music.
Mm-hmm.
It's the lyrical content. It's the purpose they put behind that song.
Right.
The words they put into that music. I mean, you can listen to whatever you want. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we're not really telling you what to listen to.
I love
we're
metal,
giving you the facts.
I'll listen to heavy metal.
I'm not gonna lie. Joey listens to heavy metal.
Yeah.
I love it when
and
they
I was
scream.
like, "What in the world is this?"
He likes that.
But there's heavy metal that has a Christian background and has biblical lyrics and stuff. But bro, like I was listening to, just to get into this topic, I was I stopped listening to secular music, if you want to call it secular music, if you want to call it world music, whatever you want to call it. I stopped listening to that once I converted into Christianity. It happened from day to night. And I think that was one of the biggest challenges I had in the past, because I love hip hop. Like I grew up listening to hip hop. I grew up like identifying with these artists, with these rappers that like struggle, that like talked about money, making it, and all of that. Of course, at the time, I was blind to the actual messages that they were giving me, and they were influencing thoughts. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the dumb stuff that I did was because
of what you listened to,
of the music that I was listening to. And then so I started getting into, I'm like, let me see what is out there right now, to see what's going on. So I put romance music in for like Latin romance or something like that. And I could not find a song that is modern that talks about the beauty of just being in love with somebody. It's all about heartbreaking. It's all about cheating. It's all about maybe iTunes, there's something wrong with iTunes and it didn't filter what I wrote the right way, but it literally said Latin love. So I'm thinking like, okay, like this is a station that has love music. Yeah. But in the opposite, it was like broken heart. Like my heart is shattered. My heart is broken. You cheated on me. You cheated on me. So then you wonder why you can't keep a stable relationship.
Yeah, that was just too sensual.
Then you wonder why you can't even hold a 3-month relationship. Why? Because all of this is subconsciously engraved in your heart and in your mind. So you don't have the ability to trust anybody because you're listening to Bad Bunny talking about how his heart got broken.
Bro, no, he's probably the worst one, man. Do not listen to that, man. And no, you have a good point though, because I guess with romance music, the way that genre has shifted now, it's always either super sensual, like explicit,
it is,
like not even related to love, or it's like heartbreak, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I know like in salsa music, right? Because I listen to a lot of salsa. In the 80s, 70s, they have the original salsa, which is more social commentary, and then in the 70s, 80s, they made salsa romántica, right? Romantic salsa. And that one was like love. Some of it was a little sensual, but most of it was love. And like they wouldn't really talk about anything explicit.
Right.
Then you get to like 2000s, like Mark Anthony.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all these artists
really
start coming out
explicit.
like really explicit, sensual, like not even really
I
like
can't
talking
stand
about being
Ventura. I'm
in
not even
love.
gonna lie, bro.
Huh?
I can't stand Ventura, whatever his name is.
Oh
I don't
my
know.
god!
I can't stand it.
What's his name?
can't
Romeo
stand him.
Santos.
Yeah.
Bro, I can't
Yeah.
stand him either. Yo, I can't. I
But,
saw a live concert.
Yeah,
but
but
that's a good point because you see the industry changing, progressing
time,
more and
yeah.
more
Yep.
towards a corruption, towards a twisting of what is good.
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, even in the old songs, because I can relate to that because I grew up listening to a lot of the old songs. But I think as kids, we didn't know what they were talking about because it's like a little bit hidden.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it was like it was not straightforward like it is today.
yeah.
Like it was like the bees and the so it was like a hidden message. It was not like straightforward. It was like something about like because he has a song that I listened to as a kid and I didn't know what it meant. And when I grew up, it was about his neighbor and the neighbor looking at the neighbor. So and he was like, she has a cat. And I was like, okay, what is it talking about? At that point, I didn't know because I was a kid. You know what I mean? But
Socios.
yeah,
Yeah.
but whoever listened to Vico C, they're probably gonna know what song I'm talking about. And by the way, Vico C was one of the founders of reggaeton. Basically, it's one of the few people that started all of that genre. But yeah, like it was not like straightforward as it is today. But even now, like I don't know, like even the kids song, like the songs that are made for kids movie have some weird lyrics in there.
Yeah, they do, and the visuals too. But so to go a little further into the topic, so on one hand we have what music can do well when it's done right, and on the other hand we have how is it used today. So what is the power of music when it's done right? What do you guys say?
David, dude. If you look at David, so there's a scripture in the Bible that tells us that Saul, when he was king, he was being tormented by demons. So listen to this. He was being tormented. Actually, I don't recall if it says demon. I think it just says he was being tormented.
Yeah, it says a spirit, a bad spirit,
tormented
sent by God.
Tormented him. Yeah. And the word sent could be allowed, translated as allowed as well. But did something was allowed in his life? Of course, to a certain point, he brought it upon himself. It was not something that was like intentional.
Yeah.
But his actions and his way of being brought it upon himself. So he opened that door. And that's what many people don't understand is that when you're listening to these songs, eventually you're opening doors to thoughts to come into your brain, into your head.
Right.
They might torment you. So he was being tormented, and then they call upon David, and he played the harp. And as soon as David started playing, he found rest. So that's the power of music done right.
Right.
Meaning that if somebody is actually going through a heartbreak, if somebody's actually going through a hard time, sometimes like the right music can bring healing.
Right.
To their hearts, can bring healings to their mind. So that's David.
Right.
And also, I don't know if you had any more to say.
No, go ahead.
Also, the Levites, right? It says that because the Levites were kind of the musicians,
Yep,
right? They were specifically chosen, and I remember reading that when they were taking the ark, I think it was the Ark of the Covenant, up to a hill or something like that. He told the Levites play music to bring an atmosphere of joy so that the people can rejoice and dance while we're bringing up the ark. So even in the Bible it shows play music so that you can bring this emotion to the people.
Right.
So that, like it's obvious that the Bible says that music has this effect on emotion, on human emotion, on human state of mind, and all this stuff. And it's very powerful because even that is it's meant to accompany this walking up of the ark to the mountain or
right. Psalms 150. Psalms 150 is all about instruments. It's literally a description of all the instruments, and it says with it, worship God. Of what I've read about that psalm, apparently it was written in a time where the people were not full of joy. People were sad. People were depressed. People were anxious. But when he wrote that psalm, it was like an encouragement. If you have an instrument, take it out and worship God with it. And that brought people to a state of joy.
See, that makes sense because you were saying earlier, like, sad people will listen to depressing music, but that for the sad people, he prescribed an encouraging,
Yes.
probably
Music,
joyful
yeah.
song.
Exactly.
But it's not a self like it's not a self elevating music.
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
a music that is meant to elevate God.
Mhm.
So it's a huge difference. And even the sound, like sounds, like the trumpet or like any sound. You see biblical references like the walls of Jericho or like Gideon, where God was like, make a sound
Uh-huh.
or shout
Yep.
or make a sound, and then all of a sudden the walls came down,
Right.
Yeah.
or all of a sudden the people got confused.
Right.
So it is an instrument of war as well.
Yeah.
Music is an instrument of war. So that's what people don't understand, that when
Mhm.
you're listening to these secular artists, the war is not what you see here. It's not flesh and bones, but
Right.
it's spiritual war.
Yep.
Yeah.
So eventually you're being part of that.
Mhm.
And like I said, I think I'm gonna continue referencing the fact that Little Uzi at one point said in one of his concerts, all y'all going to hell with me. And
Right.
and he explicitly and just broadly said, you listen to the song a bunch of times and you didn't even catch it and you didn't even know it.
Right.
So music, it's powerful.
Mhm.
Doing it the right way can bring healing, can bring awakening, can bring focus. There is testimonies of people listening to like classical music, and all of a sudden like something turn. Playing music, singing music can activate your creative side
Mhm.
of the brain, and that can help you think and can help you be creative. Like one of the
Right.
things that I do when I'm trying to focus is I play background music, and I don't know what it is that I lock in on what I'm doing, and I'm able to do it.
Right.
So it has an impact. If you think that music doesn't have an impact, you need to wake up, because that's the number one. I would say that's one of the top instruments that is being used right now to destroy society.
Right.
Yeah, there is like definitely a hidden battle being like music is being used as a weapon to fight that
For sure.
spiritual battle.
Right.
Well, going into that, then how is it used today? Like, how is music used today in a grand scale?
I think music plays a big part in first in feelings, as in teens, them growing up, them understanding themselves, understanding what they feel, what they want. It's playing a huge role in politics. It's playing a huge role in religion. Many religions that we had no idea about are coming out more, and they're being more open towards using different types of music. And since we're in a stage where now you can't tell somebody, oh look, there's for example, there's a UFO flying. People are not gonna be like, oh yeah, UFO is real. No, they're gonna want to see themselves. People do their research now. People
Right.
read now. People want to know the truth now. The problem is, this generation has everything in front of them, but they don't want to listen. They have all the information at their ears, and they're listening to it, but they don't want to pay attention. And as a result, that gives all the artists of the world the freedom to play whatever they want, make whatever they want, and they know my fans are gonna like it no matter what. I think they can influence a whole generation and bend it their way, and I have absolutely no problem doing it, just because they've already built this fan base like an army.
Yeah, but
It's like-
as long as they don't cross that line.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
there's
like
certain
for
lines you
example,
can't
the
cross.
culture, like let me give you an example, just an example out there. The baby. I don't think he ever came back from the concert that he went into the rainbow community.
Uh-huh.
I
didn't even know that.
yeah. So he went. He said some sort of comments, and he got canceled.
Oh, okay.
He got
I know what you're talking
canceled.
about, yeah.
Right.
So there's like how is it being used today? I think that it's building idols for this generation to look up to, and it's being used. They're to a certain point. I think they're puppets, dude, some of these artists.
They
Right.
have to be.
Somebody's got to be behind it.
Yeah.
Because for you to tell me that, like, for example, you grew up on the streets in Chicago and then all of a sudden you switch to the other side, because that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Or like for you to tell me that you don't let your own daughter listen to your own music because you know it's not good,
Mm-hmm.
because that's happening.
Right.
Cardi.
So
It's like, you know, the solution to that, which is, if you don't want your own daughter listening to it, then why are you exposing it out there and making it available for anybody else's children?
Mm-hmm.
You have the solution for it. Stop making that music.
Yeah.
But they don't.
But yeah, and then and to a certain point, like, you know, we can't control those things. Like, you want to listen to whatever you want to listen to. That's fine. The problem becomes when you complain and when you try to, you know, blame others. And you're not paying attention to your personal life. You're not paying attention to what you're consuming.
Right.
The problem becomes when it starts affecting your life and you can't seem to get out of the situation that you're in. You can't seem to move forward. You can't seem to progress.
Right.
Why? Because you're still listening to street music, trying to thug it out, trying to be a gangster.
Trying to make it.
And you on your 50s, fam. You on your 40s. So now you got this mentality that is engraved in you.
Oh, yeah, I think
you
that's
can't
crazy.
break out.
Yeah, because not only is it the music, but that music, it makes people like look up to those artists.
Yeah.
Right? They get attached to those artists and they want to be like, or whoever that artist presents themselves to be, because they're probably not actually like that. You know, a lot of rappers aren't, you know, out, you know, doing drive-bys, but, you know, they look at, like you were saying, they have a whole army, like a fan base that they build that would just listen to whatever they put out, that would just accept any message just because it's them, because they're fans.
Right.
Which is honestly dangerous. And I think you said something about religion, which I think is interesting, because I know, you know, every religion has its sort of music or its holy music or any, you know, whatever the heck it may be. But I know, like in Islam, when they recite the Quran, they do it by singing.
Yeah, they sing it.
They sing it specifically, and there's people dedicated to learning how to sing it. They train, they practice for years and years, and they sing it. So that holy word to them, it has to be sung.
Yep.
Right, and so like this music has weight spiritually, and you know, a lot of people like to refuse to see it in the secular world, in the physical, but it's there. I mean, people are controlling, you know, fan bases with their music,
right?
You know, so long as they don't cross the lines. But what about like the subliminal demonic messages that we be seeing now, like that, just outright, just out there, just in your face ones?
Yeah, like Doja Cat, or like
she got in heat too, wasn't she? Like, one people were saying like she was like Nazi or something.
She was going a little cuckoo, man.
Something like that.
So I don't really keep up, to be honest. I don't remember the last time I listened to like a secular song like on purpose.
Yeah, me neither.
I think there was like maybe one like that will pop out, and like I would be like, what is this about, and why is everybody talking about it? And I would like tune in to see what it is, and then they come to find out it's trash. Like the lyrics,
right?
Like the beat might be nice, but like to all those people that be like, oh, I listened to it because of the beat. I don't know how beneficial that is, because some of these artists are boldly coming out saying that they worship Satan.
Yep.
They put it in their concerts.
Right.
Matter of fact, there's an artist that was went to court, and he got caught during a sacrifice.
Oh, yo, that was crazy. What was it? Who was it again?
Got caught during a sacrifice.
I forget. He's a well-known rapper.
Hey guys, give this a like. Yo, it's getting interesting.
Yeah, and they take him to court, and in the court documents, he was in the middle of a religious, and this is how they put it, on a religious act, and they were sacrificing an animal.
That's weird, right? That's so weird.
Hey, that's not, but you know that's not new though. Somebody known, a really famous artist that passed away. And some people, you could believe this if you want to believe it. You can not believe it if you don't want to believe it. But she was very famous. Very, very famous. And she's now going to appear on $250. Celia Cruz.
Oh, she was big into Santeria, right?
Celia Cruz was a Santera. And she had she was made a Santo or Santa by a palero.
You can do that?
Yeah. Once you join the religion and you grow in Santeria, somebody does a ritual on you and they make you a Santo. So that means just a Santeria practitioner.
Yeah. Do your own research. The person that I'm talking about that did the sacrifice, I just came to mind, is Young Thug.
Okay. Yeah.
So, that's open. And I mean, I don't know what else what more evidence you want? Like,
right, yeah, and that's the stuff, you don't even find it on the street. Like,
Right.
you go to
Yeah.
any sort of street thug, they're not gonna be telling you, "Oh yeah, I'm into doing sacrifices."
Yeah.
like that's like next level weird.
And then there's a video too of Bad Bunny that it's kind of old. The video, it's kind of old. Well, he is openly saying, if you want to get famous like me, you already know what to do. And he starts throwing signs and subliminal messages with his hands. And then he says,
Get hype.
and then he says, we're not in it for the money, we're in it for the souls. I get paid
What
by
the
souls.
heck? No, but his
So-
thing is crazy because he's the number one artist, I think, right now in the whole world.
Yeah, no.
and he blew up like fast,
Yeah.
like quick.
Mhm.
And-
He's had some crazy music videos. Like the one that shocked me the most was where he found himself in a courtroom in hell, and there's 3 thrones, and on the 3 thrones there's a demonic presence, and each demon has a chain around him, and he's in the center rapping. He can't move, he can't do nothing because those 3 demons have him hold.
Yeah.
But people look at that and they're like, "Nah, it's
That's cool. It's art."
Yeah, it's just
No,
art.
Yeah,
Nah.
you've been saying it's art.
Nah, and his music is trash, bro.
Nah,
Like,
and then whole time you don't know why you're having nightmares or you can't sleep or
Yeah.
you don't know why you keep getting up at night or why you have what is that illness,
Sleep paralysis,
or you have what's that called when you can't sleep at all?
insomnia.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, do you guys think that what you listen to can open a portal to the demonic?
It depends. It depends because if I'm going and walking on the street and somebody's playing Bad Bunny, I can't control it.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think
Depends
like
on your
Intentions.
intentions. Yeah, I think
yeah.
that me in general, like somebody could be playing something at work in the office, it won't bother me because I know that the spirit that lives in me
It's greater.
is greater than anything that can come against me.
Right.
That's biblical, and I mean, you go to the gym, they don't play Christian music.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to the barber shop. I mean, actually, the barber shop that I go to, they be playing some wild stuff, man. They be playing dembow, and some of it doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Hey, listen to my boy Felipe. Listen to what he said about Dembow.
So, who? Felipe?
Felipe en Soporte Mi Locura. He was like, el Dembow. Eso del diablo, Felipe.
Oh, that's true. That guy called him out. But he was,
But
don't take it to that point. I mean, there's people that use dembow in a good way. There's Christian artists that use dembow in a really good way. But going back to it,
I would say at the minimum, like something spiritual does happen. I mean, I would say, I think it is possible, maybe a portal, but like even if you're just like putting some song on and you're not really, you're listening for the beat or something like that, you're still doing it intentionally. Like those lyrics are you're still hearing those lyrics, you're still hearing those words. At the minimum, that does affect you. That does affect you. It does affect what
it does.
You like, your desires. It can cause temptations in you.
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean,
that reminds me of what happened back in the 60s and the 70s when there was a Norway band called Mayhem, and they were playing black metal, and they were really famous for that. They traveled across the world playing black metal, and they gained so many fans. And I mean, their music was dark, and they talked about demons, and they talked about hell and Satan and killing. And one of the things that they talked about was burning churches, and that was just one of their lyrics. They just threw it in there. But now you got the majority of their fans burning churches.
Yeah.
And they got sued because of that. But they said, we didn't tell them to burn churches. Just because it's in our lyric is not because we told them to. But a lot of Christian leaders, they said, you don't have to tell them.
Right.
They subliminally already get influenced, and they do it.
you know what? Now that you mentioned that, I actually have a friend who said he used to listen to a heavy metal band, and they had this like, I don't know, I guess this like
Ritual or something.
No, it was like I guess on their like covers or something, they had a being or some mascot, but it was like some demon, something like that. He said he used to listen to them all the time. He would listen to them to go to sleep or something.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, and then he was.
And then he one time he woke up, or he turned around, and he sees that being, that demon that they use in their covers for their music in his room, like looking at him, like, so I mean that obviously that has to be something demonic.
Yeah,
there's a portal. There was a portal open.
Yeah, I think my uncle used to listen to and when I was a kid to I forgot his name, and Mason, I think it's something Mason. But he was really satanic. Like, he was open about it. And his eye, I think he plugged his he plugged his eye or something as a ritual. Yeah, he plugged his eye as a ritual or something like that. I don't know. But he had a poster in his room, and actually I was there. I was a kid, and he was sleeping in the middle of the afternoon, and out of nowhere he starts screaming like somebody was killing him, like killing him. And we asked him what happened, and he said that the poster, the thing that was on the poster, came out and it tried to grab him. So guess what he did? Took the poster down, grabbed all the CDs, and burned it. He burned it.
As soon as he realized it was real, he just stopped.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, what you listen to matters. The Bible says that faith comes through hearing. Mm-hmm. Then other messages can come through hearing as well. Right. So whether it's gossip, whether it's music, like that is gonna affect you. That is gonna have an impact in your life.
And I think also, not only are there like demonic like messages, subliminal and like obvious ones, there's also a lot of songs that try to twist Christianity, that try to twist scripture, right? And they'll use it for other things. I mean, like, I have two examples. I have a song that came out not too long ago. I saw it trending recently called Jericho, and it uses like you were saying, Jericho with Joshua and the trumpets, but it uses it as a way to glorify herself. Wow. About her, right? But you also got Beyonce, who's talking about like going to church on a Sunday, but then going to club on a Saturday before. And
I mean, she does have a lyric in one of her songs that she
and she's like not ashamed about it. She's like, yeah, this is a good thing. I'm like, bro, that's so.
She has a lyric on one of her songs that she says she wipes her blood when she is on her dates with the Holy Scripture.
Bro, what the heck? Anyways, yeah.
So
but to go into that stuff is weird.
And here's the thing, though. Like, now you got artists that are, I mean, to a certain point, what do you consider blasphemy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like crossing that line where you're like, kind of like just pushing it too much. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like those kind of lyrics, they don't only upset me, but make me extremely concerned, because people pay thousands of dollars to go see them. Yep. And you're sponsoring this, whether you like it or not. You're sponsoring this, right? By listening to them, by going to their concerts. So, what is the ultimate price? Can music cause you to go to hell?
That's a good question.
I believe it can.
I think, if you go far enough, at some point you're going to lose your faith. Yeah.
Like, I believe somebody can live their life just playing music, not even like sensual, explicit, grotesque music. I mean, like, somebody just plays regular music. For example, a professional violinist, they can live their life playing that, and they can still go to hell. Because,
for sure. Yeah.
Because they can put that before God, before anything else. So, yes, I believe it can. But also, if you're just somebody that listens, and you just listen and you don't let no influence of the Holy Spirit try to change you whatsoever. You just want to do it your way, and you still want to go to church, and you still want to listen to it, and you don't care. I believe you can, because you never allowed God's perfect plan to develop in your life.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd give a yes or no reply, but I do know at a certain point, if you keep listening to that stuff, at some point it's going to cause you to compromise your faith. It's going to cause you to compromise your values. Mm-hmm. It's going to cause you to sacrifice what God has called you to do to some extent. And at a certain point, it's just going to get too much, where at that point, I wouldn't even really consider you, like, you wouldn't really be a Christian at that point if you're just going to compromise and try to follow what this music says instead. Right? And you just let it affect you and affect you.
I mean, some of these guys, they know more song lyrics than the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true.
Somebody's Christian just because they're Christian songs.
Truth, but I'm not sorry. But we know that scientifically speaking, and this studies being done and have been proven, that music affects your emotions. It affects your function, the way you function. It affects you how creative or not creative you're gonna be. I think there was a study too on heavy metal. The demonic heavy metal, they did a study on it, how it altered the body. It created chaos. But then you got my other concern is you got artists that are kind of making sacrifices in their concerts, like Travis Scott. Like, what's up with that? Nobody.
You said "See you on the other side."
Yeah,
I mean, he just released a new album. Everybody hyping it up, but dude, people die in his concert.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, for real. And apart from that, I mean, like, we gotta be able. Yeah, we see all these like really obvious like in the face things, but there's also like a lot of subliminal things that we have to be able to discern and look out for.
Yeah.
Like that song I was talking about, the Jericho one, right? That's the sort of song. I actually have the lyrics right here. I'll read a little bit, but it's the kind of song that most people will see like, oh, that's good, because it's like, I don't know, you're lifting yourself up.
Yeah.
But when you read it, like, this is anti-biblical, right?
Go ahead.
Because I'll just read like a verse and I don't know, up to maybe the first chorus or whatever. So it says, I'm high, I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my vein. I'm gone, I've been far away. I'm a lumineer now, making moves, starting waves. I've been dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the Greys. They want to co-sign artificially intelligent, new AI. I'm your future, past and present. I'm the fine line. Yeah, I'm a missing link of this illusion. I am not really here. I am an intrusion. I don't swim or sink. I just float. I don't need gravity. I just need growth.
Sounds like a spiritual being to me.
It's so weird. But
Yeah.
here's when she references Jericho. So she says, "When I move, it's an earthquake rumble. I will never ever fall, never stumble, and I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble." So this whole song is just about her, and she's trying to use the event of the walls of Jericho crumbling, which is an event that is not about Joshua. It's not about Israel. It's not about humans.
Right.
It's about God's power. How God, in His glory, was able to make that happen. And all Israel really had to do was just
Shout.
just shout. Just
Yep.
trust in me. Do what I tell you to do. Obey me, and trust that I'll do it, and I will work.
Right.
Right. So it's meant to glorify God. Like, look
Right.
at what God did. All it did was circle around the walls and blow the trumpet, and everything crumbled.
Right.
You know, and this lady is twisting it to make it about her. Oh,
Yeah.
I want to make Jericho crumble myself for my own power, for my own abilities. And most people
Wow.
aren't going to look at that as something bad.
No.
They're going to sing. They're going to
gonna
sing the
sing
song
along.
and be like, "Oh, this is a neutral song," or
Right.
something. It's not a neutral song.
It's not. No.
It's a twisting and a corruption of what God did to
Yeah.
try and idolize herself. She's replacing herself. She's putting herself in God's place.
Yeah.
So we got to pay attention for these messages, pay attention for these, you know, these subliminal things that most people aren't going to catch up on, you know.
And it's just not and it's not just secular music. There's a lot of Christian artists, that some of their songs aren't really glorifying God. I don't really see where the glory is for God. And you first you got to use your discernment as a Christian. Use your discernment. And if you don't have discernment, pray about it.
And,
It's so available,
I-
but also logic.
Yeah.
Literally logic.
And I think the idolizing part. So idolizing
Yeah.
people. Even okay, first of all, let me just pause real quick. Christian and music. That has always been an issue. Like, especially like with the youth.
Mhm.
In the old days, with reggaeton, with hip hop, that's a rap. It has always been an issue
Yep.
with the older community, the younger community. So I mean, some of these people, I think they look at Christian artists like pastors,
Mm-hmm.
like leaders, when whole time they're just people going through their processes sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, yes, like the Christian artists should identify like what kind of music they're gonna make, because I'm not gonna lie, there's Christian artists that make music for their wife. I listen to it, and some of those songs I've dedicated to my own wife,
Mm-hmm.
because they're good. But then you got, like you were saying, some of the Christian artists that are kind of trying to copy what it's trending and trying to like twist it and make it their own. I do not like that. That
just-
I mean,
it's
that
kinda
doesn't
whack.
sit well on me.
Right.
Especially when you try to like grab a song that is hype and then turn it Christian.
Uh-huh.
For me, that's a
Oh.
big no-no.
Right.
Like,
No, right.
I'm
I
like-
hate that.
yeah.
No, thank the Lord that's not really a thing anymore as much, because that's
I
so
think
bad
that,
now.
and that's what excites me, because now you have a younger generation of Christian rappers, and Christian musicians that are trying to be authentic.
Yeah, I do.
And
Yeah,
I wouldn't say rappers only. I would consider the whole like Christian community now is starting to realize, wait a minute, I can actually, create something new.
Right.
That is unique.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to sound like Drake.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Instead of trying to sound like J. Cole. Instead, especially like I hit skip on those videos. This is your replacement for Drake. And they put a Christian artist that sounds just like Drake.
No,
I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I've seen when like the Holy Spirit convicts you about Kendrick Lamar. Here you go. I'm like, yeah,
that's crazy. But to piggyback off of that, I mean, you got the two sides, right? You have these people looking up to these musicians, worship leaders, and just regular rappers. Like there's some pastor, and then that kind of reflects like a mirror of the secular side of the effect that these secular musicians have on the nation's youth as a whole. You know, like because these youth, especially now, we have a lot of fatherless homes, right? A lot of kids with just a mom or just one parent or however it is, and then they have these rappers, these trap stars or these pop stars as icons, and they kind of put them in this place of their idol, their
they
representative of who they want to be. And instead of having a strong father in their life, they have this rapper who's talking about drive-bys and shootings and sensual explicit things that
selling rocks.
That's not what you should be looking up to, right? Yeah, and all these things that you don't want your kids to be looking up to, and that affects all these youth that are missing that in their lives, and they find it in these artists.
Yeah,
you know.
And I think that for the secular person that doesn't know God, it's hard to understand this, to be honest, because I put myself in their shoes where I completely gave up on Christianity at one point. So I stopped listening to anything Christian, and I love music, and I remember that I would freestyle with my friends. Or like rap with my friends, right? I was whack. I'm not even gonna lie, but I admit it. But
Jerry EMC.
But some of those lyrics that used to come out of my mouth were satanic. I'm serious, dude. Like I would say some dumb stuff referencing the devil or referencing demons and stuff like that. And now that I look at it, I'm remembering now. Like I remember I was sitting in a car and I was rapping with one of my friends, and I said something really stupid, like referencing and glorifying the devil. And I was like, at the moment, I didn't care. It just sounded hard. And then even my friend was like, "Oh my God, that's so hard, bro." but it's crazy how it influences you and it influences your subconscious.
Right.
So like if you think it doesn't, then start analyzing where your feelings come from. Start analyzing where your thoughts are coming from. Start analyzing why you can't overcome your insecurities. Mm-hmm. Why you can't overcome, start analyzing all of this, because at the end of the day, like I was mentioning earlier, some people that are not stable because they keep listening to this music. They stay on depression. It's supposed to be for a season, maybe.
Right.
It's not supposed to be a lifetime thing.
No.
But you keep listening to these artists that sound depressed, look depressed, dress depressed. They got stacks. They're living off of you.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they're not.
Right, my guy, you're making $11. My guy, come on.
Some of them are just pretending to be to connect with their audience.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, some of them, they you look at them and you're like, yeah, that guy needs Jesus. But some of them are just pretending, like you were saying, like they're not really thugs. They're just pretending. So you gotta put two and two together. You really do. And if you're a Christian still listening to secular music, I don't know.
Yeah. And to the Christians, right? Because you were saying about worship musicians, right? You were saying how they look up to them as pastors. If you're Christian, do not look up to these people as
like they're holy.
Like they're holy. Because I mean, Jerry can tell you, because with this man, with Ravi, man, this man was heartbroken.
Ravi Zachariah.
But the thing with him is he was a teacher, so that's more understandable. Yeah. But these musicians, like for example, I know Dante Bo gets a lot of heat now.
Yeah.
He's super young. That man's 24. He's like 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
He's really young. He's leading worship. A lot of people look up to him, and he's made a few mistakes recently. And like a few, like that's that. A lot of people look up to him, and then they start freaking out when they're like, why did he do this?
Right?
How could he do this? But man, the dude's 24. He's not your pastor. He's not. He's not a member of your church.
You don't even know him.
He said he converted at 16. He's 24. He's been in the faith for what, 8 years?
Yo, he's still new.
And then fame brings. Yeah,
he has a lot of fame, success.
Yeah,
he got like, I feel like he just got shoved in to just like to sing, like just get in the spotlight, and that connects to another thing which is kind of unfortunate. But I don't think he was ready. I think he got rushed, and I don't blame him necessarily. He still has to be responsible for what he did, because he did some outrageous things, but he got rushed. And what I think, on one side, we can't look at these people like our pastors or like they're holy. But on the other hand, these people that do come to worship, that want to be these big worship leaders, they have to know that they are stepping in a spotlight. They're going to be looked at. They're going to be, a lot of people are going to look, especially young people, youth, young adults, are going to look at them as something to look up to. And a lot of times they're not ready for that. They just think about, I just want to do music. I just like to do music. I just want to get successful doing music. But they don't think about the whole point of doing Christian music. Right. Actually impacting people's lives. And as a result of that, you're in the spotlight, and you're going to affect people's lives by the way you live. Right. By the way you act, by the things you post on your social media, because that's another thing. Dante Poe posts some weird things on his socials that I think you need to keep that with you and your wife. They need to get ready for this. Like we were saying, people shouldn't look to them that way, but it's just the reality of how it is. And I think us as Christians, like me personally, I want to be able to do music full time one day. Right. But I know that if I do that, if I am in that position one day, I need to be ready for what is to come, for the pressure, for the weight of all these people looking at me, of the spotlight of all these people listening to the lyrics of my songs, because I will affect them. I will have influence on these people. Right. These bands, they have influence.
Having influence brings restrictions in your life. Mm-hmm. So meaning, like, if you become popular and you want to be an influential person, this is what people don't understand. It's going to put you in a spotlight, and what you do, what you say matters. A lot. Why? Because you got kids looking up to you. You got people looking up to you that, to a certain point, you're their goal. You're like, I want to be like that guy. But then you don't take care of yourself, and then you got things like that happening, so then they completely fall apart.
Right. Yeah, it's sad to say, unfortunately, not everybody's faith is fully on God. Mm-hmm. Some people's faith is based on the singer, the preacher, the pastor, the prophet, the apostle, and it shouldn't be that way. Mm-hmm. But sadly, it is. And that's not just it's not just upon worshipers or singers or Christian artists. It's upon anybody that has a position that has a lot of attention, that has a spotlight within the church. Whatever you do has the power to make people think otherwise, or completely go 180 and turn from the path. Mm-hmm. So you got to be careful with it.
Yeah, you gotta stop looking up to these people. Actually, I think that us as a community, we have the bad habit of criticizing more than praying for people. Yes. So we criticize up and down, like even not even artists. Like, for example, like how many people criticize like this mega churches? Yeah. But when's the last time you prayed about them, or about the pastor, or about why don't you pray? Yeah. We know that prayer is powerful, but then you rather blur out your opinion on social media. Do you really think it's gonna make a difference? I mean, you got these people that don't even read your comments, to be honest.
Some people are there just for the hype,
or because they want to, or because. And then there's people, and this is what kind of irks me, and it actually brings a lot of heat into my soul.
Oh, it's getting hot.
Hit the like button. Yeah. Because like you got people that convert. Like, for example, you got, like, I just throwing out there, like Kanye, let's say, right? Or you got secular artists that turn into Christian. I think there's some Hispanic artists too that turn to Christianity.
Beaver.
And instead of saying, yo, let's keep that brother in prayer, what you say is, I give it 5 months.
Dang. Yeah, that negativity.
Pharisee.
Where is the brotherhood?
Yo, Pharisee.
Pharisee.
Where is the brotherhood? Where is the where is the, you know, the community? This is true. Like even like I've people come at me like that way too when I first converted into Christianity.
Imagine,
Really?
One of my friends literally said, "Oh, this is just a season for you. I know you're gonna go back to the old Jerry." And I looked at him and I was like, "Fam," like, but he was a non-Christian. But there's Christians that instead of praying for people, instead of cheering the brother up, they literally type in the comments, "This is fake. This is not Christian. Why are you cursing?" He just converted, and you want him to drop everything from day to night?
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of new artists. I know, like Justin Bieber, Farruko, he converted, right?
Yeah. There's this guy Andres,
Kanye.
Baby or something like that. He converted. He's actually doing pretty good music.
What about Almighty? Is he still Christian?
I don't know.
I'm praying for that.
Who knows?
Yeah, we gotta pray for these people, you know, because they're babies in the faith. But you know what I think is kind of hurtful though, is a lot of times they'll shove those people into, like I was saying, the spotlight. Like they'll like, I saw Justin Bieber, he converted like not long ago, and then he was like doing a song with like Maverick City or something. Yeah, like they put him in worship. Or what's his name?
I think Farruko won a award of best Christian music.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, why don't we disciple these people first?
Yes.
Treat them like normal people.
Right.
Like you don't need to keep treating them like a celebrity. You don't need to shove them in. Yes, they have an amazing talent, but let them develop their faith first so that they can use their talent wisely in the right way. So I feel like sometimes,
supportive.
Yeah, like. We gotta help
founded
these
faith.
people. Yeah,
you gotta help them have a founded faith.
Faith. And you gotta be able to tolerate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Like how many times did Jesus tolerate his disciples? They would say dumb things.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain point, Jesus was like, "Get away from me, Satan." To some of them, to Peter.
Peter cut an ear off.
But he did too, and then Jesus, knowing that he was gonna get killed by the same people, by the same person that
Judas,
he healed the soldier.
He said, Peter, I don't need your help.
So, I mean, we're like, and even looking at that perspective, they were close, fam. You don't even know the person. You read about them in Wikipedia or on Google, and you're trying to act like you know them. And commenting instead of praying for them.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's important too, because I don't know if y'all have seen the wave of like deconstruction.
Yeah.
Like not too long ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that was
kind
of
dying down.
I think it is dying down, but it was a little upsetting. Like a lot of Christian artists, Christian, like not just rappers, but like worship leaders, they started deconstructing, and just leaving the faith.
Right.
Like leaving the whole, leaving Christianity.
I saw a video on TikTok of that, but she was not a singer, nothing. She was just a girl. And her account was everything about deconstructing the Christian faith.
But it's
I mean, I looked at it and I watched like four or five videos, and absolutely all of them were based on how you felt.
Right, exactly.
How you felt. And I never once found a moment where that person said, "Okay, I gave up my lifestyle. I gave up what I was doing. I gave up how I was feeling, and I went and I closed myself with God." And tried to understand with God, tried to get with God.
For those intimacy.
So I left a comment. Until today, I've never gotten a response. It's been like months now where I said, look, I was like, if you follow the Christian faith based on how you feel, you're going to find yourself trying to deconstruct everything because you're trying to understand a relationship that you never had.
Right.
You're trying to understand a God that you never knew. A Jesus that you never found out who he can be, what he can do. All you did was read about him in the Bible, go to church, worship, and your idea of God was based on your brothers and sisters at church. And you got hurt, and now you blame the faith. And that's not how it is.
But you know what's sad about that? Is that to a certain point, we have a responsibility to represent God the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And some people in church, they think they're God, and they want to put judgment into people that they don't know. So they are harsh, unnecessarily harsh with people that, number one, they don't know. with people that are babies in the faith, with people that probably need prayer more than your comments. So you should shut your mouth and pray for them instead of talking to them.
Right.
So for me, it hurts to a certain point, but then at the same time, I feel frustrated because the church, it's hurting.
Yeah.
And even here as a Christian, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna open up. As a Christian, sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
Bro, you try to do the right thing, and for everybody out there, nobody's gonna tell you you're being like Jesus. Nobody's gonna point out the good things. The very first things that they're gonna point out is everything that you're doing wrong.
Right.
The bad things.
Right.
I mean, I had to come to a conclusion, like I'm doing this for God, and I will progress, and I will and I will stay in the faith because my anchor is in God and not in men or women or what he or she would say. But it's hard.
Yep.
You got people that are trying to come up, doing podcasts. You got people that are trying to come up to do music, to do poetry, to do movies. And the Christian community, instead of supporting those people, they bash them. They throw them out the window.
Yep. You crucify them.
You crucify them before they even got the chance. So it's in my I mean, yes, it sucks that all of these artists are deconstructing and all of that, but there's a certain thing that we're missing in the church that's called discipleship. And a lot of people think that discipleship is a lesson, and it's not. Discipleship is not a lesson. Discipleship is a life journey with somebody. Yeah. It's opening yourself up, being vulnerable to those people. But you got people that are being disciples, and all they're getting is lessons. But you don't know that the brother and sister that is discipling you, because they don't open up, that they struggle too. So you look at them and you're like, oh my God, they don't struggle at all. Yes, they do. They're just trying to fake it. They're trying to live the religious, the image. Right. So we as a church, we got to do a better job of discipling people. Right. Of course, there's some people that, you can tell, like, don't got two and two together. But a lot of these things, I think, can be avoided if people genuinely learn how to love each other. Right. Not right. In this fake love that you go to church and they smile at you and they say God bless you. The love that drew Christ to die for the sinners that were not even born.
That while knowing that the one sitting next to you was going to betray you, and yet again you still washed his feet. Right. That's love.
Exactly. That you still stuck with him. You still taught him. You still were able to impart. And you still gave him the ability to see the power of God. You still gave him the ability, Jesus did that with Judah, even though he knew from the jump that he was going to get betrayed by him. Right. So for the church, we need to do better.
Stop playing.
Yeah. If we were to follow Jesus, we need to follow his example and love and show grace.
Especially with music and artists and all of this. Pray for the brother. Pray for the sister. Right. If you see them doing some shenanigan, pray.
Right. So when we see Bad Bunny get saved at some Pentecostal revival service, don't judge him. He's done some awful stuff, but you have done awful stuff too. Let's pray for the brother.
That's true. That's good. Well, I guess let's do. I have 2 questions that I think people might want to have an answer to. Okay. Right. One would be, Can we listen to music from artists that might be questionable? Like a Bethel music where they what they teach is really kind of wild. Can we listen to their music and it's okay, or is it if their teachings are bad, we can't listen to any of their stuff? If it's from Dante Bowe, is it bad? Can we listen to that stuff still?
Well, the church I grew up in. I told you guys they had 7 bands in that church, 7 different bands that played at different services. And I remember this meeting that they had where the meeting was about the type of music we were allowed to play and the artists that we were banned from playing. And a lot of the artists
who was on that?
Was all these classical Christian music that we know about, like Jesus Cedran Romero
What?
and Marcos
You weren't
Witt.
able to
Marcos
play
Witt
that.
was banned?
Marcos Barriento, bro. All this,
What?
all these artists that
Did not play
most
them.
Christians know, literally,
That's
were-
crazy.
they were
What?
banned, literally
That's
banned
crazy.
because
That's crazy.
the pastor questioned their theology. He questioned their
Okay.
faith. He questioned, you know, what the heck, what like, and it was like so dumb stuff, like Marcos Witt, you know, él es un varón, porque tiene el pelo largo.
What?
¿Qué es eso? And I'd be like, that's
Long
nothing.
hair?
It has
'Cause the
nothing
guy
to
has
do.
long hair.
And then another one, Jesus Dan Romero, he's like, yeah, he invited his son to sing with him. What did his son have on? Earrings. So
Yeah,
because
that's
of, and
ridiculous.
it was things like this, and for every artist, it was the same thing, just different things,
Yeah.
different things, but it was the same thing. It was all outside.
Yeah.
Nothing in regards to who they're singing to, the worship song, none of that. So I questioned that, and I truly never believed it. So it's the same thing now. I've heard so much stuff about Elevation, about Bethel, about Dante, about Maverick City, all of it. I've heard so much stuff about them, but I can only speak about my own experience. There are songs that I've listened from many of them that I listened to them and they've ministered me so strongly, and they've brought me to a place of prayer that God is my witness of what happens in that prayer.
Yeah.
But there's songs that I'm just like, nah, I don't feel this, and I don't listen to it.
Yeah.
And if today each of one of these bands or artists decide to make an album of secular music, I'll still continue listening to those worship songs that minister in my heart, because within that time, that song specifically was dedicated to God, and it was blessed in a way that supernaturally the power of God manifests, and I can't take that away. No matter what they believe, no matter what they do, no matter how they're living, the power that was vested into that worship is not going to go away.
Yeah,
no matter
yeah,
what.
it's not.
So, if you hear some teachings about Bethel and Dante and Maverick City, hey, but if that song blessed you and takes you closer to the presence of God, you keep doing your thing.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your
That was
question,
spot on.
I think you can listen to whatever you want. At the end of the day, it's how it edifies and brings you closer to God.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the question you should be asking. I'm not going to lie, there is some music that I feel like is more emotional than anything, and it's not even worship, but its title is worship. And it's more emotional than anything. It's just to stir up your emotions. But then there's songs that are actually worshiping the name of God, the name of Jesus, that is calling upon the Holy Spirit, that is glorifying the name of Jesus. So, yeah, I mean, listen to whatever you want, but at the same time, be mindful.
Right.
Is it bringing you closer to God? Is it actually making a difference? Is it actually, allowing you to connect? Because I'm not gonna lie, there's some music, there's specific songs that if I'm feeling weak in my prayer or in my fasting, I listen to it, and it's like eating a piece of bread when I'm fasting, because it gives me strength. It gives me it like rejuvenates me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a playlist of specific songs that I listen to when I'm feeling weak, when I'm feeling when I'm fasting, when I'm praying. Matter of fact, there's some certain worship music that I can't play at 5 a.m. because they're gonna put me to sleep.
Yeah, that's true. I feel you there.
Yeah. So I gotta put a little bit, a little bit more upbeat music. It's still worship music, but it's a little bit more. Yeah.
Some Planet Shakers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put some of Joey's Rockman music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with both of y'all. I think it's important too is that just because maybe one person or band sings it in one way, I can sing it and repurpose it to another. I can still dedicate that song to God. I mean, as long as you're listening to Christian music, you shouldn't really pay attention to like who it comes from, but pay attention to what it says. What is the content?
Yeah.
Is it really dedicated to God, or is it really something else? But if it really is dedicated to God, and that song ministers to you, and it really touches your heart, and you feel the Spirit, minister to you through that song, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, the thing is, God will never use a perfect person to minister to you. He's never going to use a perfect worship leader or a perfect pastor to preach to you. Everybody's going to have their flaws. Everybody's going to have their differences in theology.
Yep.
God will use a song all the same. God will use a preaching all the same for His glory, because the power comes from Him.
Right.
Right. It's not up to me to be a perfect preacher.
I can actually testify about that, because I've preached, and I'm feeling nothing, but then the brother and the sister are getting delivered.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Right. So
Yeah.
he doesn't depend on us in
Yeah.
any way.
Yeah, it's not about what you feel.
It's like when Paul says, like, you know, my grace is sufficient for you because in your weakness, my power is made known.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because the whole thing is that I don't need you to see. I don't even need you to see to touch these people, to go preach to these people.
Yeah.
In your weakness, I will work.
Right.
I'm not requiring you to be strong, to be able, to be capable in any way. I just need you to trust in me, right? And to believe in me, and I will do the heavy lifting for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we don't need to expect these, you know, worship leaders to have all of it figured out.
Right.
You know, does that song minister to you? Like, can you sing it and really dedicate it to God? You know,
Mhm.
that's all you
Hold up.
really.
Yeah, and that too. And then to all my before we end, because I think we're running out of time. To all my young people out there, to all my teenagers that love rap, hip hop, EDM. What else is trending out there? Trap.
Pop, trap.
Trap pop.
Pop.
I would say that's the main stuff, and yeah, pop a lot too, because I know a lot of pop stars. It used to be like a straight trap.
Uh-huh.
I think
Yeah.
pop is coming back.
Urban style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the old school joint. So I mean, Joey made a tremendous point just to finish this off, but I also want to mention that, bro, we have some fire Christian artists.
No, we do. We absolutely do.
That you can look up, do your research. I mean, bro, I'm gonna say this boldly, bro. This one time, bro, I was listening to a rap song, bro, and I felt the presence of God, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I was like, what is this?
Hey, yeah, there was one song by what's his name, Zanti
Yeah.
or something. That song, I was like, yo, this feels different.
Yeah,
it's like a you know, pop rap song.
Yeah. So he actually came up with a pretty good song not too long ago. So yeah, you got. I mean, I don't want to name names out there, but you got really good
Yeah.
Christian artists.
Yeah, you can't use the excuse that, oh, Christian music is lame, because there's a lot
Nah, yeah, there's some
good,
fire things out
talented
there.
musicians.
Get on
that
Apple
are
Music.
Christian.
Get on Spotify, my guy. Get on YouTube. Do your research.
Matter of fact, if you're trying to do some workout music, I got you. Just comment. We're gonna play. We're gonna
Comment.
put the
Comment. I want it.
yeah, or comment. Send me
Nice.
that list, and we're gonna put some references out there. But keep in mind, these are people. These are rappers. These are human beings that are going through life.
Yep.
They're going through
Absolutely.
life. And some of them have their struggles. Some of them have their issues. Because, now, you do have Christian artists that from time to time they curse. And you're like,
What's going on? But
Yeah,
you,
like,
but what do you say when you mad? What do you, how do you express yourself against somebody you're really angry with?
yeah, but, pray for them. Going back to the foundations, pray for them.
mhm.
Pray for them.
Yeah,
look
I
out
guess
for them first.
takeaways. Obviously, be careful what you listen to.
Mhm.
There is power in music. Obviously, if you watch this whole episode and you didn't get that out of this, something's wrong. There's power in music.
Yep.
Be careful what you listen to, but
Yeah.
also, kind of relating to that point of prayer, build up your foundation spiritually so that you can have discernment of what to listen to, what not to listen to, so that you can approach, these people, these artists that maybe are not good to listen to, approach them with a sense of grace,
Yep.
of humbleness and humility and love, and pray for them.
Yeah.
Just solidify your biblical foundations. And yeah, we shouldn't be supporting the modern industry of music, but
We should be transforming it,
transform.
Yeah.
and leading it.
Amen.
I think not to throw names out there, but Lecrae had a good point of how he deals with secular artists that he does music. So do you think Christians should be collaborating with secular artists?
That's a good question.
Think
Because I know
about
he
it.
does it.
Think about it. So Lecrae said. So
yeah.
Lecrae said, "I have come to learn that and you can listen to that podcast. I think he was on an Elevation Youth or Elevation Church podcast or something. They have a podcast, and he came on there, and he said, I figured out that Jesus did not go into the environment and acted like the environment. Jesus brought those people into his environment so that they can be transformed by the environment that he put them in there." So he was saying, I learned that going with this secular artist, because I think he was seen with like Kendrick or something, or he was with like some high rapper.
I mean, he's made songs with like a Ty Dolla $ign.
Yeah,
with, what's it? E40.
E40, I think. Yeah,
whatever his name is. A bunch of rappers.
So he was out there, and he was like, spending time with them. But then something clicked in him that was like, okay, no, these people, they need to get brought into my environment.
Mm-hmm.
And not me going to their environment. They need to be brought into my environment so that I can show the love of God, so that I can show, so that I can have the opportunity. And I think that's wise. But, I mean, people have different takes. I have my personal opinion about that. I mean, about, featuring secular artists and whatnot. Because what's his name? Kirk Franklin?
Kirk Franklin.
Uh-huh.
He does it a lot. I mean, he's done it in a few occasions. But
he bought a plane for Kendrick Goblin.
But anyways,
that's a good question. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Comment below.
Yep.
Hey,
what are you listening to? Put some artist name at the bottom, yo.
Share, what was at the gate if you want some Christian metal?
Yeah, what's the sauce right now? What's making you go the extra mile right now?
Right,
something that is edifying, something that is positive, in not this like culture positive. Something that is actually like lyrical, has lyrical foundations and stuff like that. Because now you have all this trending things about positive vibes, positive thinking, positive manifestation, and all
Señor
that.
reprenda el diablo.
For real.
For real.
But conclusion, we kind of already said it. So stay strong, stay blessed. Careful who you listen to. Be careful what you open yourself to. If you're depressed, there's also Christian music that is kind of depressed that's gonna lead you to God too. I'm not gonna lie.
Not every Christian song is good. There's some songs that be a little too romantic for me. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? But
do your research.
Yeah. Use discernment. Use logic. Ask the Holy Spirit for help. Get some discipleship. Get some foundation. Surround yourself with that family that's gonna show you the way. That's gonna be there with you.
Yeah.
Your weakness
and support.
Yep.
Support. I mean, these people, they get paid less. I could say that Christian artists sometimes get paid less because the audiences it's a lot smaller. But don't be surprised too if they do flip to the other side, because there's occasions where you got people, because it's so much easier to become popular in Christian industry, and especially in that rap and hip hop, then they gain popularity and then they switch.
I've seen the rappers do that.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's discipleship.
Yeah.
Right.
But stay strong.
Thank y'all for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Support us.
Share it. Comment. Hey, send us some fire songs.
For sure.
If you know any. I'm a huge fan of reggaeton and hip hop and rap. I love it.
I like metal.
He does. I don't.
I mean, I like any music really. So,
but anyways, peace.
Peace, yo. Hey, you viewer, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Backyard Conversation. We're here today with our brother Jerry and our brother Joey, and we're here today with a brand new episode. What are we gonna talk about today, boys?
Are we actually starting? Oh, my bad.
No, I got it. Don't worry, man.
I don't think that's a good intro.
Anyways.